Hello, if you are watching this, Jupiter is moving into Aries, and you have Aries in your third house. With Aries being in your third house, you naturally are a very witty and quick communicator. This is one of your natural talents. And yet, Chiron has actually been sitting here, kind of holding a self-critical, self-sabotaging energy due to feeling kind of wounded, feeling kind of scarred up. And so you may have hesitations about how it is that you speak and interact and communicate with people. You may be dealing with your own essence and how it is that you communicate, that maybe you've heard you're too domineering or too impulsive, too reactive, too combative. These may be certain things that have plagued you with Chiron being here. Now, as Jupiter has entered here, this is a chance to expand in the most fortunate way, giving you a chance to understand how to shift your very incredible talents of leading the way, but doing it in a way that people want to follow. And so there's a descriptive way in which you are going to discover how to describe it. If I was the one to do it, then I would lock you in to Chiron, to a limited belief, versus the versatility and the unknown and venturing into new paths that your Aries nature really wants you to have. This is naturally connected to how you communicate. However, this is a very specific part of the body. It's where it is that our hands and our arms are connected. It's where it is that we connect with the people around us. So you may have to heal your surrounding area, being really connected to your environment. And how you're relating to your environment will be very telling of how you communicate. They are very connected in this realm. And so this is also a place where the goddess nature in you wants to come out and experience itself through a masculine penetrative form, right? The third house is very receptive. It receives messages. But with Aries being here and then with Jupiter being here, these are very masculine traits. So it is embracing and healing the directiveness and embracing it, having no shame, having no fear of your confrontation, that you'll actually find that you may avoid combat. Confrontation doesn't always have to lead to combat. Now, as a Libra rising astrologer, that might be my underlying goal here. But with you, maybe you're going to find that sometimes you too have to combat. And maybe this is about learning how to win in that communication. How do you communicate with your words so that you ensure that you always win? This may be about really closely identifying with your intentions behind what you say and recognizing that some of your reactions may actually lead you down a bad spiral. A spiral that's very emotional, that's very responsive. And this is naturally just being more authentic to what your impulses are saying when you respond. What is it that you're really crying for or defending when you have to respond and when you have to stand up for yourself in a message or communicative way? And as you're able to craft this ability to do so, you're going to find that this Jupiter energy is going to bring forth an incredible fortune for you. There could be incredible ways for you to expand your commerce, expand your marketability based off of the way that you initiate conversation and that you begin things and get things talking and moving. It's going to be a talent that you naturally have, but maybe just didn't give it its fortitude, maybe didn't give it its strength. And so there's this thing here with this Chiron Jupiter energy exchange that's going to be happening in this transit. And this thing that is this, this kind of opinion, this optical that needs to be seen in its most far-sighted way, an awakening to the real truth of something that you're seeing, of how things are occurring to you. And when it is that you awaken to that, you may discover many other things that you're actually awakened to, the power of your own word, the power of your own word play. The third house is connected to all skill sets. So even though we've talked about communication, this could be anything that has to do, any sort of skills that are natural to you or that you've developed over time or that you've apprenticed over time. And these skills may do with your hands, but if they don't, it may be a time where you're figuring out how to do it with your hands. This might be a do-it-yourself era at this moment, a way to learn how to be productive based off of what it is that you're capable of. This might be a do-it-yourself era, and it might be a time where you are focused on all of the skills that you've attained up until now. It's so interesting because this is the area where you are a writer, but it's not necessarily the area where you have a lot to write about. It's not an area of experience. So you've come to the third house with adapted skills, and now you have to decide what you want to say. And so Jupiter may be expanding you on what that is, maybe recognizing that there has been things that you really have not explored and what it is that you can say, what it is that you can communicate, right? And so communication can happen also on several grounds. It's not just in our most atypical way, and I think that that's also what you're here to explore. How can you communicate in creative ways? How can you take what you already have learned and skill sets you've already built and create and communicate through those skills? So I hope that this Jupiter transit will bring you this expansion, this fortune to pioneer yourself into this realm, giving you a lot of opportunity to get seen and to get heard. It's a time where fortune is in your favor for social media presence, for book publishing, lectures, anything it is, writing, lyrics, poetry, books, anything that is connected to messages. And you too may be dealing with an erratic nature that happens here with Aries, but Jupiter has brought kind of this kind of protection energy. Quite often where Jupiter is, we expand on our perspective. So you may be seeing that you once had a perspective that was deeply laced in more negativity that was serving you. It's like we definitely need to understand where negativity lives and how it works in our life. But when we speak too much negative stuff and we focus too much on the negative things, then we can kind of get lost in fighting over something or having a message that was more about destruction and more about endings than beginnings. And the Aries in your chart is all about beginnings. It's all about starting brand new things. So learning to have a better outlook to even, change and not force, but just make a decisive effort to look at your outlook, because it is your outlook itself that also will help with the expansion of what skills, possibility, and marketability it is that you have in this arena. So I hope that this will be a resource for you during this transit. And I thank you so much for visiting me on this channel with the stream of consciousness reading of the Jupiter transiting Aries phase through your third